Yo, what is up, guys? It is your boy, Great Zage here, and we're back to What If Asta Was Madara's Reincarnation, Part 5. Yep, Part 5 to this What If. I hope you guys do enjoy this What If. I'm really enjoying the story so far. You know, sometimes I do believe I could do better, so that's what I'm just gonna do. Could try to make this better. So I hope you guys do enjoy this What If, and pretty much, let's get started. Hope you enjoy.
She gripping that dick like she was a lost star. She party at night like she was a rock star. She singing my song like Bella-dee-da. She calling me daddy, but not a father. Little Billy been thirsty like big as some water. Could give you the world with the wave of a wand. We Philly, our bitch Cosmo and Wanda.
Alright, guys, so we're gonna go ahead and begin this What If. So after getting the mission from the Wizard King himself, or how Asta likes to call him, just Julius, considering the fact that although he does earn his respect, Asta is not going to go ahead and just go speak to him. That's as if calling Hashirama Hokage, alright? And there's no way, you know, you're just going to go ahead and see Madara go walk up to me like, Hokage. Like, Hokage sounds like, nah, man, nah. But either way, after this day, there will be 3 days to prepare, which they all do so. Asta most of the time just training, or just training Magma, Noelle, and Luck, as all of them have continued getting stronger. Now, some of the Black Bulls had noticed this, and they did want to include themselves. However, they just didn't get that, you know, inspirational push. Not yet, at least. Wow, ashamed. But let's go. Now, after the 3 days have passed, it was finally time for them to go, as all the Black Bulls would go ahead and ride on their respective brooms to go on. Asta would just ride his, you know, his Gunbai sword, and pretty much just fly off. Now, if you guys are wondering, hey, Madara never had a sword, considering the fact that I've been reading some of the comments, just search up Madara's sword and it should appear. Like, literally, it should appear. Now, another thing, during this arc, it would actually go differently, considering the fact that Gordon is also coming along. Not that much changes, but I'm just, you know, letting you know, considering the fact that they did man's dirty, okay? They really was like, you know what, we're going to leave him behind. We don't really have anything for him, so yeah, we're just going to leave him behind. So yeah, they really did Gordon really dirty, like, no joke. Now, as the Black Bulls eventually get there, all of them we begin to see the sea, as Magma couldn't believe his eyes, due to the fact that he was just from a, you know, a commoner village, and really didn't get the chance to see the sea. Now, due to the fact that as soon as they arrive, most of the Black Bulls decide to go ahead and have fun at the beach. Well, Asta goes ahead and decides to just, you know, look around, trying to find something interesting. Now, Noelle who's actually beginning to confirm her feelings for Asta, already knowing how she, you know, actually feels about him. Oh God, talking like this, you know, describing the feeling thing, it's weird, alright? Alright, it's weird, but still, let me continue on. She actually asked Asta if she could accompany him, with Asta not really minding. It doesn't really bother him that she's here, and besides, she is his teammate, and this is his new life, so why not? So he goes ahead and allows Noelle to accompany him, with Noelle getting excited and everything now that she was with Asta. As they begin to walk around, they just begin to chat and everything, going ahead and enjoying their company, most especially with others, as I'm talking about Noelle, who's really enjoying Asta's company and his attention to her. Now, as they continue walking, it began to get, you know, nighttime as they go ahead and walk back, only to see Yami had already grouped up all the Black Bulls. Now, as soon as Yami does, he turns to Noelle as he begins to say that she will be the one that they're going to be counting on, as she's going to be the one to go ahead and take them to the underwater temple. Now, hearing this, Noelle will put on a serious expression as she goes ahead and nods, as Yami, looking at the look of determination on her face, already could tell that they're in safe hands. So with that, he'll go ahead and go off to sleep, as well as the other Black Bulls had enough fun for the night. Asta will look at Noelle, who was still patiently there, as he then speaks up. So, you want to train? At this, Noelle would then chuckle. You could always see right through it, can't you, Asta? She would say. At this, Asta would just shrug his shoulders and grunt, as he goes ahead and speaks up one more time. Your emotions are too obvious. You need to learn how to control them better. But still, come on. Until we'll continue practicing and training until the point where you're 100% sure that you can pull it off. Even though Noelle has exceptional training with Asta, she still has not really gained fully control of her emotions. Especially when she's put under a lot of pressure, as in, saving her friends and making sure they don't get crushed by the underwater pressure. Yeah, that scares. That is scary. So, she really was not 100% sure on her abilities on that. But once again, Asta just knew what to do. So with that, Noelle will then smile and have a small blush on her face, which she, easily shrugs as she then says, "Take it one step at a time," she would say, as she would go ahead and begin her training. Asta would keep putting her in dangerous situations, where he would always accompany her. For example, try to get her to perfect it, and also control her feelings. Now, the way of Asta doing this is he will go ahead and put her under genjutsus. Now, when Noelle actually first asked about Asta's illusion ability, he would just say, he'll begin to explain about his ability of chakra. But that's all his answers. He only said it was chakra and just the basic uses of it. All he did was explain how he uses chakra for genjutsu, but that's just it. Which makes Noelle think that that's just the only ability of chakra, able to do with genjutsu. Although she was confused and asked if she's able to learn it, which Asta just shakes his head, implying that only he has it. This causes Noelle to be a little bit upset, but not really, considering the fact she has magic, so that works out in the end. Now, as they go ahead and continue their training, she will continue putting Noelle under, genjutsus, and showing her different illusions in different situations. On one hand, it was all the Black Bulls underwater, with her already activating the, Sea Dragon Slayer. As she at first was panicking, considering the fact it felt so real, everyone talking. This causes her to begin to shake up, and everyone begin to lose control. However, she would eventually begin to gain control of her emotions. He'll continue putting her in different scenarios where she has to control her emotions, and he could obviously tell what she's feeling, considering the fact that it shows on the outside of the genjutsu. However, eventually she'll be beginning to get control. Now, as we're going ahead, this will continue on for a couple of minutes as Noelle was panting. Alright, I'm ready for one more round. At this, Asta will nod as he will activate his Eternal Mangekyou Sharingan, ready to put her under another genjutsu. Until they will both be stopped as they will suddenly hear singing. Asta. He will sense a presence nearby as he goes ahead and faces the direction. At this, he will blitz off at speeds, which Noelle has gotten used to, considering the fact that it's Asta, and she will just run along and try to follow him. Now, Asta, when he arrives there, he would be on top of a rock, only to see a girl there. What? thought Asta. As this girl will be currently singing, however, Asta, when he looks at this girl, he can obviously tell one thing. She's automatically suspicious. Also, she comes from the underwater temple. So, yeah, who knew? Now Noelle would have arrived there, and she would have seen the girl as well, who actually goes ahead and knows it's Asta and Noelle, and gladly introduces herself. Now, Noelle being kind, will go ahead and introduce herself as well, as Asta would do so, as well. Now the girl, or how we know it as Kahuno, will begin to, speak, asking like what they're doing here and everything, as Asta actually goes ahead and stops her right there. Before you ask anything, I would like to ask you, what are you doing here? Now, she would actually go ahead and begin to sweat a little, considering the fact that under Asta's gaze, it was so observant, so serious, it caused a shiver to go down her spine a little bit. However, then again, there was a feeling of wildness that just came from Asta, which intrigued her. Well, I was just out here practicing I'm just out here practicing my singing, Kahuno would say, with a smile. At this would cause them to, look at her weird. However, Asta would still remain his serious expression. You want to be a singer? Asked Noelle. Why, of course I do. For money. At this, Asta was doing things in his mind. That makes more sense, Asta thought. considering the fact that, he really did not expect this, especially since he could already tell that this girl had magic, alright? And not low reserves. She actually had pretty high reserves. So he could obviously tell that this girl definitely had magic power and could back up that talk, alright? Now at this, Noelle can only sweat drop at this girl, considering the fact that, she actually has not been, she actually has not seen such a selfish goal before. But then again, there's been multiple magic users that were around the kingdom that only became magic knights for the money. So I guess she could sort of understand. Now, Kawano, who was now just, beginning to talk, she would then realize that Noelle was actually had a small little scratch. I guess she got it from climbing up one of the rocks. At this, she would go ahead and kill Noelle using her singing magic. Now, this actually shocks Noelle. However, Asta goes ahead and feels his interest peak. Using sound waves to heal someone? I wonder if sound jutsu is not unheard of, but never really tempered in that department. At this causes Asta to have a mischievous grin on his face, as he has actually a good idea and another thing that he wants to train on. Now this will just add up to his thing to train on. Let's see, his water affinity, like his ability to train with water, his anti-magic, and now the newly added sound jutsus, as that has been happening. And besides, who knows what attacks he can make. Now at this, Kawano would then ask them if they wanted to be friends, which Noelle instantly agrees to, and this also causes her to go ahead and chuckle. She turns to Asta to see if he accepts, which Asta just, vaguely nods. Considering the fact he really doesn't, I guess he's okay with it, he's not that much of a douchebag. Now at this, Kawano would just smile until she turns to Noelle, telling her that she really needs to gain control of her emotions and just don't think too much about it, just feel the flow. At this, Noelle will actually stop her, will actually look at her in shock, until she, eventually takes her advice and decides that, yeah, she will go with the flow. And at this, Kawano will go ahead and begin to say goodbye, as it was finally time for her to leave. And this also included Asta and Noelle, who were actually, planning on leaving and getting some rest. Now Kawano was about to walk away. She would then stop in her tracks. She then turns to Noelle for one more good advice, telling her that, sometimes a fond memory could allow her to, get her emotions in check. At this, Noelle would actually smile and thank Kawano for the advice, as she and Asta would go off, leaving now Kawano alone, as she then says, "I'll see you soon, Noelle, Asta," she would say, as the next day will then come. Now, actually, I'm going to do a time skip to the day when the full moon. Now, it's finally, the full moon, and Noelle has already gained full control over her emotions. Now, she actually goes ahead and controls it by remembering one certain fond memory, and it was a memory that she will always remember. Now, after all of that, she goes ahead and tells everyone to prepare herself, as she goes ahead and activates the sea dragon layer, allowing them to finally go in the water and finally head to the underwater temple. Now, along the way, they do come across some, tidal waves and everything, which actually gives Asta a couple ideas to actually create some water jutsu, which wouldn't be that hard for him. He uses his Mangekyo Sharingan to remember how the whirlpools, just spin, especially since they look like they're highly compressed and everything. So she goes ahead and able to go, maneuver out of it, and allowing them to finally arrive at the seabed temple. So after this, they go ahead and enter the barrier of the underwater temple, and this is where they go ahead and witness they will go ahead and witness the city. Now, seeing this, they will go ahead and actually be amazed, as all the people there would just look at the black bulls, and just be there in silence. Now, at first, all the Black Bulls would think that, they were, sort of mad at them or something. However, all that would then stop as they go ahead and just, begin to invite them. They were so welcoming and actually begin to follow their, begin to, like, have a chat with them. Now, after a while, they eventually meet the priest. They finally meet the priest of the village, who goes ahead and just, invites them into the temple, as this will go ahead and cause them to all be on guard, especially Asta. This man, he's lying, Asta would think. He could obviously see through this man's bullshit and could already tell that this man really has no idea what the magic stone is. Now, as they continue moving on, though, the old man, which I don't know how to pronounce his name, I'm just gonna call him the old man, or the head of the village, or head of the temple, he'll go ahead and tell Yami. Ask Yami if he wanted to play a game, and that whoever wins the game, they will get one thing or another. Now, at first, Yami was not 100% sure about this. However, Asta would then speak up. "We accept," he would say. At this, Yami would turn to him. "Kid, who asked you to make the decisions around here?" Asta would just give him a look, and then send some killing intent, causing Yami to actually nearly choke on air itself. "Captain, if I have anything to decide, I'll decide who or what I want to challenge, and I accept his challenge." Now at this, Yami just nods, considering the fact that the way Asta said captain was sarcastic and not really, seriously calling him captain. And Asta, he does not bow to anyone, and he treats them as if they are equals. So, after all that is over, the games would then begin with the old man and Yami actually getting teleported away. At this, the old man would then tell Yami about his, his priest or whatever, the people, his guardians or whatever. I don't really know what he calls them, but I'm just gonna say his priest. So, yeah. He goes ahead and tells him about this. However, Yami just chuckles and says, "Oh, you have not met my squad then." Now, with that, Asta would have been teleported to a different area as he goes ahead and looks around. Well, I was expecting a challenge, but I guess it's gonna be entertaining. At this, suddenly 4 giant fish would then rush at Asta, ready to pound him in the ground. However, Asta would just look at them as he was in tremendous amount of killing intent, causing them to phase at the mouth just by the pure pressure, as they would go ahead and pass out. Asta would say. Now, right now, viewing this, the old man would actually be in shock of this, considering the fact he sensed no magic whatsoever from Asta. So the fact that he just took down, those beasts like everything, like nothing, without even touching them, sort of shocked him, and also got him a little bit worried about Asta. You're looking at the wild card of our group. That kid over there, I'm telling you, he's a real monster. Yami had to admit, the kid was the definition of an unknown, even for him. Like, he'd been trying to figure out Asta ever since the first time he even joined the Black Bulls, and yet he's still a puzzle for him. He can't really solve. So yeah, he had to admit, Asta was, I guess you could say, the ace of the team, and he can even admit that. Now we're gonna go ahead and change the views as we see Ghosh and practically all the members of the Black Bulls defeating their enemies as if they're nothing. Now, while running, Noelle would eventually come across Kahuno, and she would actually see Kahuno and realize that, oh, they're gonna have to fight. Now, in another location, we see Asta already rushing off. However, he would go ahead and be confronted by one of them. Oh, it sucks. I don't sense any magic from you, and I thought I was gonna have a tough opponent. Oh well, I guess he didn't get a chance to finish that sentence, however, as in a blink of an eye, Asta appeared, grab him by the throat, and slam him to the ground. "You were saying," Asta would say, his eyes never ever leaving the guy's mask, as he goes ahead and coughs up some spit. Damn it. I underestimated him, he thought. Asta would then elbow him in the gut, causing him to be knocked out unconscious. "Geez, you're brutal," said the voice. At this, Asta would go ahead, get up, and turn to the voice, only to reveal, well, another one of the priests, or the priest soldiers. I guess another one of you has appeared. Oh well, nothing really much I had to worry myself about. Now at this, the man would just chuckle. "Man, you're actually real funny, but I can obviously tell that you're very skilled." So, he'll go ahead and pull out 2 blades, implying that he was a sword wielder, causing us to actually get intrigued. "Alright, fight me." At this, the man will go ahead and rush off at Asta as he begins to dance while swinging his blades. Now Asta would actually be impressed. He can't read his movements. Well, at least he wouldn't. He can't really just read his movements, even with his Sharingan. However, sadly for him, he was too slow. Now, also have to admit, that style was interesting to him. And considering the fact that it didn't seem like as if, his attacks were actually planned out or anything. It's almost as if he was just going with the flow. As if he was just relying on just, his instincts all alone. And everything it felt random. So Asta would just continue dodging his attacks until he's like, "I had enough." He goes ahead and pulls out a kunai, blocking the blade, as he goes ahead and vanishes and appears right behind him. Oh, you're interesting. I have to give you that. In fact, you may be the strongest swords person I have ever seen in this world. At this causes, the man actually be in shock until he's then grabbed by the head and then slammed once again into the ground, just like his fellow colleague. "He's strong," thought the guy. Asta would just chuckle. However, suddenly he would then sense a presence. "Shit," he would think. As suddenly a large boom will be heard throughout the entire area. As suddenly man in hoods would then walk in, and one beast would then come out. This would be Veto. Veto had recovered from the last injuries that he fought Asta from, so he got recovered. Unlike Raya, who was still in recovery, considering the fact, he did a lot of damage. So Veto had appeared, and he was now with his group of the Midnight Sun members, and they were now planning to go ahead and get the Magic Stone. Now at this, he would also see Magma and Luck, as both of them sort of took care of their opponents, and were now just, looking at each other, but then turned to Veto. "Hey, wait a minute, who are you?" said Magma. However, on a different location, Asta would smile. "I have a good feeling about this," he would say. Asta would get up as he begins to rush up at amazing speeds, rushing towards where Veto is. He wants to have fun. He really wants to. Now, Veto, seeing Magma and Luck, will then chuckle, thinking of them as small fries, as he goes ahead and begins to use his magic. Suddenly, his magic will go ahead and create large beast claws, as Magma and Luck will go ahead and get ready to fight. Now, with that, events will happen different than canon. Veto at first would just destroy the 2 priests that were just there, trying to fight him off, and then he will fight Magma and Luck. Now, this will go down really different. Due to the fact that they're much stronger than before, Magma already had an idea. As he goes ahead and now says, "Good," because Veto would then chuckle. "Well, I guess these 2 were nothing, but you humans might as well give me some fun," he would say. He takes a step forward, but Magma would then chuckle. "You just fell right into my trap," he would say. As suddenly there will be a magic circle underneath Veto, shocking him, as there will then be an explosion of flames. Yeah, fire trap magic is really entertaining. He would say. Veto would jump out of it as he then says, "Not bad, human." However, Magma would then chuckle. "I would pay more attention if I were you." At this, he would then snap his finger as, once again, a bunch of fire chains would then sprout up from the ground and wrap around Veto, trapping him in place. What? This is a stronger form of my binding magic. But since it's trap binding, it's much more powerful. Veto would go ahead and use his strength, but he can't break out of here for some reason. What's going on? Now that's the thing. Magma had to go ahead and put in a consistent flow of mana into those chains in order for them to hold down their enemy. But Veto had already much more mana than Magma, which he could already tell. So he was practically giving it all he got to hold him back. Luck, you go now, Magma would say, which Luck already knew what to do. He would go full on to his armor, his lightning armor, as he dashes off at top speeds. He appears right in front of Veto and begins to claw at him, slicing away. And it looked like all Veto could see was like a blur appear right in front of him and slice down at him. I can't see. These chains are really binding me to the point. These humans have gotten interesting. Now, Luck will continue vanishing around, continue going ahead and beating up Veto, until he goes ahead and until Veto finally was able to break out of the chains. Now, as soon as Veto breaks out the chains, Magma will then feel the drawbacks of his ability as he begins to pant. It took almost everything I had to hold him down. Jeez, this guy is not a joke. Luck will go ahead and try to kick Veto, however, he just catches Luck's kick. You're fast, human, but not fast enough, you would say. His arm would then once again be enveloped in magic, as he then punched the lights out of Luck, sending him flying, as Luck goes ahead and crashes into a wall, coughing up blood. Dang it, no, Luck would think. Magma, seeing this, will go ahead and grit his teeth. Damn it! He will go ahead and make a flaming bat, and begin to shoot multiple fireballs at Veto. Now, Veto, seeing this, would then chuckle, avoiding all of them, or just, swiping at them as if they were nothing. However, Magma had a different idea. You have no idea what you're getting into, he would have thought. Now, Magma will continue swinging and everything, as Veto continued just dodging them as if they were nothing. Until Veto finally got up close to Magma in an instant. You die, human, he would say. He would go ahead and about to kill Veto now with his Beast Claw already activated, until Magma would then chuckle. Oh, you're an idiot, he would say. As suddenly, chains would then erupt from Magma's stomach, enveloping. Now, I don't really know much about Magma's trap magic, but I'm just gonna say this. I made some of the things, because I really don't know some of the trap magic. Yeah, just sorry. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm not really sure what to call this, but let's just say, whatever. Now, Magma would then go ahead and just be enveloped in flames, causing Veto to actually be in shock. As when he goes ahead and tries to touch Magma, he would then be enveloped in flames, causing him to actually scream in pain. Ah! Just what the heck? Magma would then jump away, as he had now been almost completely out of mana. That took up a lot. The plan was to lure Veto towards him. He'll pretend like an idiot to go ahead and try to match up with him by using his, fireballs. However, in the end, he was planning on trying to get him close to him. Because if Veto was close enough to him, he could activate his final trap. That being an explosion. As the flame continued to get hotter and hotter, Veto would be screaming in pain until finally, Magma had enough as he then snaps his fingers. At this, suddenly, all the flame would then begin to draw into a certain place, which being underneath Veto's stomach, as Veto's body was burned to a crisp. As then, Magma would then say, "Be gone." He will snap his fingers, and this would cause the explosion to go off, bursting Veto, sending him flying. Now, unbeknownst to Veto, someone was already behind him, ready for the attack. "Nice one, Magma," he would say. Luck will go ahead and appear in his full armor again, but this time there will be different. He had some weird weapon made out of lightning, as this was a lightning blade. Now, you see, he had a blade full of lightning, which sort of resembled a katana for some reason. At this, Luck would then chuckle as he then says, "Take this, and lightning slash," he would say. He would go ahead and slash at Veto, as Veto would have a huge cut in the middle of his stomach. Now, in order for Luck to even pull off this technique, well, actually, no. Actually, you know what? No. I actually don't want that. Actually, Luck will go ahead, and his entire hand will be in the form of a blade that's actually made out of lightning, as he goes ahead and stabs Veto right through the chest. damn it, he would say. As suddenly, Luck will go ahead and charge all his magic into the blade, as he'll begin to enlarge, causing Veto's stomach to open wider. Damn it! As this was a combo attack. Electromagnetic murder, both of them would say. As this attack was strong enough to actually harm Veto to an extent. Curse you humans, he would say. However, he would then chuckle as he then turns around, grabbing Luck by the neck and vanish towards the magma as he slams them both together. And finally, he goes ahead and charges one Beast Claw, swiping down at them and eventually knocking them out unconscious due to the pain. Well. I have to admit, those two have fairly gotten stronger. I'm glad to see. At this, Veto already knew the annoying voice as he grits his teeth in anger. Well, but isn't it human? At this, Asta would appear in all his glory. Now, Asta will go ahead and been wearing the, if you guys have searched, he'll be sort of wearing something similar to what Madara is wearing right now, except he doesn't have the red armor plates. He just has the, the shirt and everything. He doesn't really have the plates on with him. Now, Asta would see this, he would then chuckle. What? Oh, right, I forgot. Something about you caring or something, I forgot. However, Asta would then chuckle as he begins to stretch his muscles. I better expect a good fight from you. Don't disappoint, he would say. At this, Veto would then chuckle. Trust me, human, I plan to end your pathetic lies and make you taste despair. At this, Asta would then chuckle. Me? Despair? Please. At this, Veto would then rush off at Asta at top speeds as he goes ahead and tries to bring down his Beast Claw. However, he would then look to his side, only to reveal that his hand was gone. What? Asta had just sliced off his hand. But how? He would then see that Asta had just used his arm, which was enveloped in wind chakra. Interesting, he would say. Asta would go ahead and punch Veto once again in the face, which Veto begins to remember when Asta began to actually beat him down. At this, Veto would just grit his teeth as he tries to attack Asta again. However, once again, same results would happen. Asta would continue to fight him, and each beatdown will be worse than seriously, this man Asta ain't playing. He'll begin to beat down on, Veto as he grits his teeth. That's enough! As suddenly he will go ahead and suddenly a large burst of mana would then burst from him, shocking Asta, actually surprising Asta as he jumps away. Oh, finally things are getting interesting, he would say, as he goes ahead and activates his internal Mangekyo Sharingan. Now at this, Veto would go ahead and be enveloped in a large amount of mana as he then says, "You won't kill me. I'll make sure you taste despair this time." His arm will fully regenerate now, fully regrown and everything. As Asta has to say, you officially are, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I thank you. You officially are, I have to say, the strongest person I have faced so far. At this, Veto would then chuckle as he goes ahead and dashes off at Asta, his arms extended and everything, as he swipes at Asta to destroy him. Asta would still have the speed advantage, of course, as he jumps up in the air, as he begins to swiftly dodge around Veto's attacks. Fire style, fireball jutsu, Asta would say. He would shoot a large fireball, which Veto, seeing this coming, would go ahead and jump towards it. That won't stop me, he would say. He would go through the fireball and try to hit Asta in the stomach, which Asta just chuckles. He was able to go through my fireball like it was nothing. This is getting exciting, Asta would think. As Asta would go ahead and block Veto's attack using his arms in a cross. Now the attack would hit Asta, and he had to admit, it actually hurt him a little, as he gets sent flying across the area, getting slammed into a wall. Yes, this is power, human. However, Asta was in the crate. He would then chuckle. Wow, I actually felt pain. Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. At this, Asta would begin to speak. Oh wow, Beastman, show me what you have. At this, Veto would jump off at Asta at amazing speeds, with Asta jumping along as well, as he begins to go into pure taijutsu against Veto. Now Veto had to admit this human was definitely strong. In fact, he was able to match him even in his strength that he currently is in. But at least he knows that he's doing some damage at least. Or at least that's what he thinks. He's not really doing a lot. Asta would continue hitting him, and he had to admit this was getting fun, but now it's getting boring. However, he still had to admit, in order to make things interesting for himself, he did go ahead and just go to taijutsu. As Asta continued fighting Veto, he would just continue laughing and chuckling at this. Come on, show me what you have. Veto would go ahead and get out of the crater that was formed due to Asta's punch and jump at Asta, sending him flying once again. However, Asta would just go ahead and backflip and regain his balance. Is that all you have? Asta would say. He blitzed through hand sizing and says, Water Style, Water Dragon Jutsu! At this, now, unbeknownst to both of them, Noelle and Kano had just arrived to see the scene, and Kano already rushed off to heal Magma and Luck. However, Noelle's eyes were widened. What? But that's my magic spell, Noelle thought. How it was a little bit different, but still. As suddenly from deep below the ground, a large water dragon would sprout from the ground, appearing right beside Asta. He then launches the dragon directly towards Veto. Shoot, I accidentally forgot his name. Sorry. Veto, looking at the jutsu, would go wide-eyed. What? I thought he didn't have magic, Veto thought. Whatever, it doesn't matter. It won't stop me from killing you, Veto would say. As he goes ahead and tries to, to overpower the water dragon, but it was too much. Veto will be sent flying as, this would completely shock Noelle, considering the fact the amount of magic that he's showing, it's terrifying. As Veto will be slammed into a wall, accidentally going out of the, facility and everything, he will be actually sent inside the water, outside of the seawater temple. At this, also we jump down, as he begins to walk calmly, to the direction where Veto got sent flying. Come on, beast, show me what you are. At this, Veto will then burst out as he then yells, Curse you, human! He will rush up at Asta at top speed, but also following along. As they once again get into a taijutsu battle. Well, Veto's just, Veto, having a hard time against Asta, will once again will go ahead and try everything just to claw at him, but Asta continued just reading his movements. However, Asta could tell one thing, Veto was also improving his skill. He was actually able to dodge some of Asta's attack. He had to admit this was getting more and more interesting. Like a beast you learn. As Asta would go ahead and then, kick Veto on the face, also backflipping off of him. Veto will go ahead and growl, Curse you, human! He'll grab a rock and throw it at Asta, who goes ahead and just, uses some wind chakra to his hand, slicing it away. This is getting fun, but I'm having enough. At this, Asta will then chuckle as he begins to go ahead and once again blitz through hand signs. Fire style, majestic destroyer flame, he would say. As suddenly that ginormous flame will then shoot directly towards Veto, who seeing this just goes ahead and grits his teeth. That won't stop me! He tries to do what he did last time with the fireball, trying to rush into the majestic destroyer flame. However, to his surprise, he actually pushes him back and he actually gets burned in the process. The flame is much harder and much stronger than it was from before. Asta then chuckles as he goes ahead and laughs. Stupid beast like you don't even know how to escape fire. Wow. As Veto will be sent flying, he'll go ahead and get back in balance. He then charges at Asta once again, more beastly than before. Asta at this point, he had to admit, Veto has now officially gained some of his respect. Now this was what he expected. Now this is what he's been waiting for, a battle. Something to actually interest him. And now here it was. However, now was the time to finish it. Veto was rushing out Asta at top speed, and this is about a time where Finral, who was hiding Finral, who was hiding in a corner watching all this with shocked expression, would actually see as Asta goes ahead and begins to be surrounded. At first, Veto will go ahead and punch Asta as a large shockwave will be heard, a lot of wind going up around, considering the fact that was gotta be one of Veto's hardest punches. However, to Veto's surprise, he would then hold his hand in pain. Ah! What the hell? He would then see Asta, who is now surrounded by a ribcage? It was a blue rib cage. As suddenly it began to take form. The rib cage would go ahead and begin to form. He then says, as Asta begins to speak, "You officially gain my respect, beast. Or should I call you Veto? Huh? Well, it doesn't matter." At this, the beast continued. The rib cage began to form until it began to get wrapped around, actually looking like as if it got wrapped around in flesh, then in armor. Veto was watching this entire thing in shock, as he couldn't believe this. What is this human doing? At this point, Asta was just chuckling. Well, consider this a token of my respect. Asta will go ahead and do it in the torso of the Susanoo, which was not complete. Like, he didn't want to, he's not going to go full complete Susanoo, considering the fact, well, yeah, he earned his respect, but he was not going to go full on Susanoo. But still, he would give him the Susanoo, alright? He would just give him the torso of it. As Veto's seen this thing, he would then say, "What the hell is this?" He would go ahead and rush at Asta, barrage the rib cage, well, barrage this avatar, whatever it is, with a bunch of punches. As Asta would then say, "You can't penetrate the Susanoo." As the Susanoo continued taking more and more hits, it wasn't affected at all. As Asta would go ahead and with the one slice of the Susanoo's hand, he would slice down at Veto, cutting him in half, shocking Veto. "It can't be," he would say. As Asta would chuckle. "Farewell, beast," he would say. As the Susanoo began to barrage Veto with multiple slashes, as they went in blinding speeds, and suddenly Veto would then chopped up, alright? Looked like steak, bruh. As Veto's last thoughts were, licked. As that was it. That's were her last thoughts. He will go ahead, all the pieces of Veto would then fall onto the ground, while Asta exit out the Susanoo. Well, consider that a token of my appreciation, beast. He would get up. Now, as he would go ahead and walk off, now that they had just defeated, well, I guess you could say, one of the strongest members of the Eye of the Midnight Sun. So, yeah. Damn, Asta. OP as fuck. But whatever. Now, when walking, Noelle snapped out of her shock, considering the fact she had never seen this Susanoo of whatnot, is what Asta calls it. She had never seen it before. "Asta, that was amazing," she would say, instantly rushing up to him. At this, Asta would just look at her, then chuckle. Well, I guess it was interesting. Well, I guess for you it was. Him, however, I respect that beastman. He was able to go ahead and actually give me a decent fight, and also actually wounded me a little. At this, Noelle's eyes will widen. "You're wounded? Where? When?" As Noelle begins to berate Asta with a bunch of questions and everything, Asta would just go ahead and just keep a serious expression, not wanting to really go involved. Now, after this whole moment, the Black Bulls, which involve, the others, would eventually arrive there, including Yami, who had finally broken out of this, prison. As he had to admit, he was shocked as well. As Asta could already tell that Yami had a bunch of questions for him, but he decided that he would answer them all in due time, as he was not going to go ahead and reveal everything about himself. So, after this moment, Nero, yes, that's right, Nero, she eventually goes ahead and she'll go ahead and actually find a magic stone, considering the fact that she's been following the Black Bulls, which, yeah. The reason why I don't bring her up that much is, well, because, well, I mean, shoot, I just thought she was just a comic relief bird and everything, so, yeah. As she went ahead and found a magic stone, Asta, being Asta, he would see Nero as she sees that he had something in her mouth. So he goes ahead and sticks out his hand, only to see the magic stone arrive. Perfect. This will go ahead and satisfy our needs more than once. At this, Nero will go ahead and land on Asta's head, which he approves of, considering the fact that as long as she's not, bothering him or anything, doesn't really matter to him. Now, after this moment, the Black Bulls will then be, cheered on by everyone in the Water Temple, calling them heroes and everything. And this causes the Black Bulls, well, not to really react at all, considering the fact that Magma and Luck were still in recovery. Luck would then think, well, damn it, I thought we could beat that guy, he'd say. Yeah, me too, thought Magma. Both of them had to admit, they thought for sure, due to the fact that they were training with Asta, they thought they could beat him. But at least they did much more damage than they actually expected. I mean, shoot, that guy actually went ahead and howled in pain, which you had to admit, that was impressive. At this, Luck will then look at Magma. I guess that means we're just gonna train even more. Magma will then chuckle. Well, too bad, I'm gonna get much more powerful than you. As they begin to go ahead and have a competition about which one will get much more stronger, verbally of course, Asta would just be on the corner, just sitting down watching this whole display, as all the Black Wolves were now well rested and were about to leave. Now, it was finally time for them to leave. All the Black Wolves have arrived at the Water Temple, while Noelle goes ahead and says her last goodbye to Kahuno. Also, now at this very moment, nothing really much special really happens, so the Black Wolves will just go off, they said their goodbyes, and pretty much this concludes the end of the underwater temple. Noah will once again guide them back to the surface, finally, and she goes ahead and lands them all there. So, now with that, we're going to go ahead and do a change of scene and a time skip to, I'll say 4 days. So, it's been 4 days. Now, due to the events that have occurred, Yami had reported to Julius about what happened, as he was accompanied by Asta, Finral, and Charmy. However, due to those two being, those two, they decide to go off and do something else, while Asta just goes ahead and follows Yami, considering the fact he has nothing better to do. Now, after Yami's report, Julius will be really happy as he turns to Asta. Wow, Asta, and you use this weird, ginormous man thing? Is it magic? What is it? Can I see? At this, Asta would just look at him. Julius, if I were to try to even think about using it here, I'll probably destroy this entire kingdom. At this, Julius will actually look at Asta wide-eyed as he then thinks, dang it, I really want to see it, but what does it mean he will be able to destroy this kingdom? I mean, yes, the way that Yami explained it was impressive and everything, but don't tell me you can go even further than that. Just how much are you hiding, Asta? Julius will wonder. As Yami and Julius continue talking, Asta was too much, just thinking, considering the fact that he wanted to create some more jutsus, as well as, trying to recall some more things. However, suddenly all his thoughts were interrupted as he senses presence. Perfect, Asta would think. He will go ahead and get up, as he then turns to the window. And suddenly a large explosion will be heard, implying that the kingdom was now under attack by a couple of mages. Now, Asta, using this opportunity, will waste no time, not even batting an eye to Julius or Yami, as he goes ahead and jumps out the window, considering the fact that he was bored anyway. Well, it looks like that's under control. Now, at this thought, Yami would nod. However, he would then see a large tree then sprout at the middle of the Clover Kingdom, as he obviously know that this was William. Now, at this, Yami will go ahead and, instantly charge for a broom and jump out the window as well, also riding the broom to get to William, considering the fact he had a question for the young lad. Now, with Asta. Asta had just been destroying a lot of the mages, actually, and also he had made shadow clones to go ahead and help the Clover Kingdom. Now, when all of this is happening, unbeknownst to Asta, multiple of the civilians are actually surprised and in awe of his power. However, one person was completely in shock. This will be Longoris, Finral's brother. He couldn't believe his eyes. This commoner, this black bull, was over here saving everyone. And what, he has multiple types of magic or something? Longoris couldn't believe it. This guy was over here single-handedly stopping the invasion. Even with Captain Williams' help, Asta was already just way too strong. He was already taking care of all of this. Now, at this, the mages tried to attack Asta, but it would fail terribly, considering the fact that Asta can just use his Goombai sword to reflect the magic, or, use Fire Style, Fireball Jutsu to burn them away, or you just use, other jutsu. Literally, Asta is just a walking tank right now. Like, the man is literally the definition of a walking cheat code. Now, After Asta goes ahead and saves, like, practically solos all of this, unbeknownst to him, however, had just arrived at the kingdom, see a bunch of Astas running around, and this completely shocks him. You just keep getting more surprising, brother, thought As he goes ahead and sees Asta, who's already riding on his Goombai sword, beating up a bunch of mages until he finally lands down. Now, once he lands, he sees Finral helping some of the people. As he goes ahead and looks at him. "Well, where have you been?" said Asta. At this, Finral will go ahead and chuckle, saying that he went to check out the ladies and everything, which Asta just looks at him as if, he's an idiot. At this, he also sees Charmy there, which he's happy to see her, I guess. They see each other on a daily basis. So, all of them are just there together, and that's when all it ended, when Yuno finally landed right in front of them. "Asta," said Yuno. At this, Asta would then turn to him as he then had a smile. "Hello, Yuno." Now, Yuno seeing Asta would then smile as well, as Belle, who was, the wind spirit, was watching all this with a slight of jealousy. "Why is he smiling at him like that and not me?" she wondered. As Yuno would begin to walk towards Asta, he thinks, "You have gotten stronger, haven't you?" At this, Asta would just nod. "I could already tell that you have gone as well." At this, Belle finally had enough. He then says, "Who the heck is this guy?" As, this would all begin to get comedic effect, with just ignoring Belle, Asta ignoring Belle as well, considering the fact he didn't really care. Although he was interested in the spirit thing, she was an annoying little, to him it was just an annoying little fairy. Besides, it was not as if she was, really much. Shoot. Compare Belle to Ten Tails, she was nothing. So Asta was just not really impressed. Now, after a while talking, they will then hear footsteps, only to all of them to turn around to see Longarus. Well, if it isn't the Black Bulls, he would say. As he then turns to Asta, instantly ignoring Finral, who already had a sour look on his face, which Asta caught notice of. "You, what royal family do you belong to?" he would ask. At this, Asta would look at him. "Do I look like I belong to a royal family?" At this, Longarus would then, begin to glare at Asta. He then says, "Of course you didn't belong from it. I'm just impressed with your abilities, especially coming from a Black Bull. I'm pretty sure you're really happy, aren't you, brother?" he would say, looking at Finral. "You're really happy that finally someone gets to carry the dead weight around here." At this, Finral would then chuckle. Yeah, I'm really happy that finally someone can do something that I could never." Asta, hearing this, would then look at Finral as he then speaks up. "I'm not the one carrying around the weight, and you're the one who's going around doing nothing. I've seen you take on a couple of missions. Although your personality is annoying, your magic is not even that impressive. I have to admit, at least you have some tenacity to go ahead and try." At this, Finral will actually be in shock at Asta's compliment, or what he thinks is a compliment. That's gotta be the nicest thing he ever heard come out of Asta's mouth. Shoot. At this, Longarus would then laugh. "Wow, now I know for sure you're a commoner. No way you would actually go ahead and actually praise this man. You do realize that he's a failure, right?" At this, Asta would then turn to him as he goes ahead and adds some bloodlust, and adds some pressure onto Longarus, who actually stops breathing. "Let me tell you something. Shut up. No one wants to hear you. And another thing, stop acting as if you're any better than him. Both of you are royals. In my eyes, you're the type of person that goes ahead and ruins everything. You're the type of people that's the reason why peace never happens. So continue annoying me and I swear I'll have your head." Asta would say, adding more killing intent and more pressure, causing actually the ground under Longarus to feel like it feels like gravity is just against Longarus as he continues thinking, "What the heck? Is this gravity magic? No. Just what the hell is he?" Now after this, Asta would then avert his eyes from Longarus, considering the fact that he was too disgusted by his sight. Now, Longarus was finally able to breathe, not that he had noticed that he wasn't breathing, as he just looks at Asta in complete shock, unable to even retort or anything. Well, I have to admit, it was great meeting you and all, but it's about time me and my squad have to go. At this, they will just nod, especially Finral, as he looks at Asta with shock. He talked back to Longoris, and his rival is a member of the Golden Dawn. He even scared Longoris. Now, due to all Asta's support, and pretty much just looking at Asta in a new light, Longoris would then, Finral would then turn to Longoris and he speaks. Brother, I will no longer be in your shadow. At this, Asta and everyone else would then turn to Finral, as Longoris would still be in shock. First, this commoner went ahead and actually literally threatened him, scare him, and was actually able to prevent him from even breathing. It was like having the presence of a captain right in front of him. But now Finral's acting up? What the heck is going on? As Finral begins to continue speaking. I have to admit, back then, I was a coward. I thought I could never beat you. But now, I decide I'm going to change that. Because I'm going to beat you, Longoris. And I'm no longer going to step aside while you go ahead and continue getting better. I'll get out of your shadow, and I'll show who I am. At this speech and everything, Asta can't help but smile. Finally, this one actually showed what he had. Now the only thing that he needs to do though, it depends on how he uses all this confidence and everything. What is he gonna use it for? Is he actually gonna make good on that promise, or what is he gonna do? Now, Longoris, just in shock, would just grit his teeth and walk away, not even wanting to look at Finral, as Finral would have a determined look on his face. Everyone's snapping out of it. Yuna would turn to Asta. Farewell, Asta. I hope to see you around. At this, Asta would just nod his head, as Yuna and Asta would go ahead and do a fist bump, as both of them walk separate ways. Now, after walking away though, after this whole exchange, Nami would finally be done talking to Julius, or should I say William? He would be done talking to William and Julius. He found out about William's little secret, the fact that boy just looked like he got burnt or something. So he knows about William's secret, and he really doesn't care. However, he did went ahead and go to Julius, and finally was done with the report. So after that, the Black Bulls were just done. After that moment, all the Black Bulls had arrived back at the Black Bulls base. Now, Asta was just gonna go off, probably gonna go just train, considering the fact he really has nothing else to do, until he was stopped by Finral. Asta, can I ask you something? At this, Asta could already know what's gonna happen, considering the fact that this has happened 4 times already. This happens 3 times already. What, Finral? Asta would ask. At this, Finral would then actually beg Asta to train him, saying that he wants to actually get serious. And he wants to actually surpass his brother. And hearing all this resolve and thing, Asta had to admit, Finral was the one that he had seen. Also had to admit, although Finral magic was not really that impressive, that did not mean he cannot make use to it. Besides, Asta had a couple of ways of how he could go ahead and help Finral improve, and most of it involves him training in his physical strength and using his magic to its full potential. Alright. I'll help you. So, with that, Asta will go ahead and begin training Finral, another one who is added just like the rest of the Black Bulls. I mean, Asta's already training like 4 members of the Black Bulls now, so I guess you can say Asta really took up the mantle of a mentor. So, yeah. So for the 4 days straight, for 3 days straight, Finral had just been training with his physical strength, of course, considering the fact that Finral was really weak. So Asta had been training Finral, allowing Finral to lift weights and train his body, and also began to teach him about how to use his magic in unique ways, which Finral actually never even thought of. Due to this, I guess you could say Finral has like a light version of the Flying Raijin, considering the fact that Finral is able to go ahead and teleport himself, considering the fact he calls it his spatial magic, instead of going ahead and, instead his spatial magic actually changed. Yes, he's able to open portals and everything. However, he's able to go ahead and make a line. He's able to, he can go ahead and form a small little blue orb that whenever he goes ahead and jumps inside the orb, he can go ahead and teleport behind people and everything. So I guess you could say it's sort of like the flying Raijin, sort of. So yeah, even though he still has not mastered the technique yet, he has gone way stronger than he was in canon, already in 3 days. So yeah, Finral was stepping up. However, unbeknownst to them, however, in a certain part far away from the Black Bulls and everyone, we see a certain group, being the Eye of the Midnight Sun, as they were planning their attack on the Witch's Forest. Is suddenly Liquid then speak up. Fauna, I leave it up to you. Fauna would nod and saying, I won't fail you, Lit. And I will get revenge for Veto. As the news of Veto's death had spread around the area, Fauna had been growing even much more hatred, as she decided that she was going to make him pay, the one who killed Veto. And they already had a sneaking suspicion of who it was. Now with that, Vana would go ahead, as well with other members, as it was finally time for the attack. As they were they were getting ready for the attack. Also from somewhere else, we also see members of the Diamond Kingdom. One of the members that were included was Mars, as they were all gearing up, preparing for another to also attack the Witch's Forest. Speaking of the Witch's Forest, we see deep inside of it, as we go ahead and see a lady with oddly wearing clothes, but she did look powerful, as this was the Queen of the Witches, aka Vanessa's mom. Something tells me I have a bad feeling of what's coming, as she already has a bad feeling about what's going to occur in the next few days, as this was the beginning of the Witch's Forest arc. Now, this is where I'm going to end the video. Hope you guys do enjoy. It is Great Zage, and pretty much I just, I really have nothing else to say, so pretty much, yeah, see you around. Also have a good day, and, I don't know, watch anime. See ya!